To Bajaj Auto, the auto major reported a 5% rise in total sales with 3.5 lakh units for the month of June. Data was better than muted expectations, but two-wheeler exports continue to see pressure. To discuss this, we have Rakesh Sharma, Executive Director at Bajaj Auto, who joins us now. Mr. Sharma, always good speaking to you. Thank you for joining us on the channel. I want to understand how are demand trends for July and August shaping up? Because the two-wheeler sector continues to see some pressure in exports, not just your company, but across in the industry. But now we are seeing the rural markets in the domestic space pick up. So what do you think the net growth could look like over the next couple of months?
Good morning, Sonia.
Morning.
The outlook is, coming fairly to what we had expected. Quarter one has unfolded exactly like that. April was a very big month because of the convergence of festivals and marriage dates, etc. And then May and June, compared to previous year, were flattish. But overall, the quarter was about 8% growth in terms of retail and motorcycles. We expect a similar 6 to 8% type of retail growth in the coming quarter.
Okay, so 6 to 8%?
Which is actually not bad because, July is a very July is one of the, along with December, one of the really doghouse months. And then a little bit starts to improve in August, particularly in the West. And then you will see in September a build up to the season. And the season this time it's all happening in October, the Dussehra and the Diwali.
So you're saying the 6 to 8% domestic retail growth is in the July to September quarter, right? That's what you're looking at.
Yes, that's what we expect.
Okay, and what is the market share currently? I mean, you ended FY24 with a domestic market share of around 18.5%. Just trying to understand, as of June, what is the domestic market share? Have you been able to build on to any of your gains?
Yeah, so the overall market share remains at 18%. But as you know, our a large portion of our effort has been focused on the upper half of the industry, where we are steadily inching up to the leadership position. So this is the 125cc plus segment, where we are now in retail terms, at about 27% market share. And I think just 1 or 2 percentage points behind for leadership position. So that's steadily improving. And the particularly outstanding performance is actually in the 150cc plus segment, which is a sporty commuter segment, which is where our flagship brand Pulsar is. And there we are at, all-time high in the last 3 years of about 40% plus.
Just coming back to the 6 to 8% domestic retail growth, right? Just trying to understand a little more about that. Are you saying that, yes, things are coming back, but not in a very big way? What continues to be the challenges that the sector is facing? Why is demand not getting back to, say, double-digit growth yet?
Sonia, 6 to 8% is a very good growth, right? And the key factor which is actually driving this growth is, at least in our type of customers, the economic recovery is finally reaching them. And there is optimism. We can also sense that optimism from the way the terms in retail financing are coming out. People are willing to take longer term loans, and which reflects a certainty of future income flows. And you have to remember, these people are our customers. 70% of them are, around the 30 to 40,000 rupees per month salary band, and they had got quite devastated by by COVID, and it has taken time for economic recovery to touch them. So we are actually quite happy and positive that there is this kind of and I think 6 to 8% growth is a good growth too. It's a very large industry, and if it grows at 8%, it has got very good consequential impacts.
All right. Hi, Mr. Sharma. Good morning and good to see you. And, I was just telling my colleagues yesterday, I came back from Kenya and I was so happy to see so many Bajaj vehicles, on the road out there, the 100, 125cc, quite a few of them. So Good work on that front. But getting to your numbers, for the past month, the domestic to the export two-wheeler market, out there's still a small degrowth of close to around 1%. So my question to you is, how are markets like Nigeria, Egypt doing? And are you seeing signs of recovery out there? You've mentioned this quite a few times, that currency availability as well is a bit of an issue. Tell us more.
Yeah, so overall, globally, if you see, there is a very smart recovery in LATAM. There's a smart recovery in ASEAN, particularly Philippines, which is where, for us, that's a very, very big market. There is still a bit of trouble in South Asia, which is primarily Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. And there is still the big trouble spot is Africa. Or let me not put the entire Africa, but I would say the large market of Nigeria. That is still in the negative zone. But having said that, there is recovery even in Nigeria. For example, I will tell you that if my memory serves me correct, in our retails in Nigeria were about 3,000 units in April. And in June, they are upwards of 15,000 units. But we used to clock 50,000 units, right? So to compare with 50,000 units, obviously it is way behind. But if you look at it 3 months back, you can see that there is a recovery. Our shipments to Nigeria were, again, matching retails, couple of thousand units. But last month, our shipment to Nigeria was 9,000 units, right? But again, still shade of the 45, 50,000 units, which we used to do. The Naira, exactly 100% it is there. It was 750, if I remember, in last year, June, and now it is about 1,400. And that is the underlying cause of the issue that is unleashing a big inflation over there. And the other countries, like the one which you just visited, Kenya or Congo or Ghana, and you would have also sensed it, they're not as severely impacted by the devaluation, but still similarly impacted. And they're also, because of inflation caused by devaluation, the demand is muted, though recovering. And all depends on now the stability of the currency and people getting used to the new normal and things coming back. So it's going to be a gradual progression. But if you look at LATAM and all, I'll tell you, our top range, which is the Pulsar Dominar range, is growing at about 25-30%. And as a result of which, even though our quarter one volumes are flattish, but our EBITDA specific to the business are double-digit growth.
Absolutely, got that. Mr. Sharma, we'll come back to the here and the now, but we have a big union budget upon us, and we all know the challenges that the sector is facing, right? Whether it's over-regulation, too many taxes. I mean, Rajiv Bajaj has also spoken about that ad nauseum. But what is it that the government can do for this sector which will help aid demand further, you think?
See, I know it is very easy to demand a GST cut because the government has to think of balancing the budget and all, but that's their outlook and we can understand their responses. But the point is there that for this customer who's got 30 to 40,000 salary per month and where a motorcycle or a two-wheeler is an absolute necessity, over there to have a 28% tax is, very harsh on the customer. Because don't forget one thing, the moment a person acquires a motorcycle, that person's productivity really increases, whether it is access to the farm or access to a job in a nearby town, a whole new world opens up. And therefore, from a social point of view, and even from an industry, triggering it off an industry sort of growth point of view, there is a strong case for reducing the GST from 28% to whatever. And I would also say that now on this, if you add some of the alternate fuels, which also, take the agenda of decarbonization a step further, when you add that, then at least for the alternate fuels, particularly things like CNG, etc., which the government is actively promoting on the one hand, through a brilliant work on laying the network, etc., and a lot of capex is pouring in over there. So increasing throughput of that capex through encouraging people to shift to things like CNG and other alternate fuels, and by lowering the GST would go a long way for the customer, for the environment, and as well as for the industry. And besides that, of course, we would always welcome things which put more money in the pockets of the ordinary consumer and improve the sense of optimism, because that really works well. And you've got 2-3 months, the Diwali season coming. If that sort of finance minister is able to pull that sentiment, uncork that sentiment, we can look forward to a really good season.
Let's see what the finance minister does, right? Given all the constraints that the finance ministry has. Well, just one final word, getting back to business, an update on Triumph, because the last time we spoke, you said you're targeting 10,000 units monthly for Triumph by September. Are we on track to do that? And, what is the latest there?
Yeah, so we are now, we were at that kind of rate. As you know, it's been almost exactly 1 year, and almost 50,000 bikes have been put onto the roads in India and in 57 markets overseas. So the exports business is now waiting to see the retail response, which, from whatever we understand through our colleagues in Triumph, the response has been pretty good in many large markets. And if that sort of starts to flow in, I do expect, maybe not in July and August, but we will start to see very good numbers in the region of 10K from, let's say, September onwards.
Okay, well, Mr. Sharma, thanks a lot for joining in, and all the best for the months to come. It's good to see that there is traction now picking up in the two-wheeler space, and Bajaj Auto talking about a 6 to 8% growth for the domestic two-wheeler industry, which they say is very strong given the kind of constraints that the sector has seen in the past. So those are some demand trends coming in from Bajaj Auto. Let's take a quick break. On the other side of the break,